Good day, guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be responding to Asmongold on one of his videos. Firstly, I'd like to say Silver Proving Grounds gives you a decent amount of preparation for heroics. Even though you are using actionary targets, they teach you to AoE in certain circumstances, not stand and shit, interrupt, stand behind certain targets with a shield mechanic, and most importantly, mob priority. In some instances, you need to pop cooldowns to handle some encounters, which also teaches you how to manage cooldowns to a degree. These are the basics to making heroic encounters go smoother, with less chances of wiping on trash mobs and bosses. So your argument against them is more or less invalid. The fact that you cannot be sympathetic to people for being unable to complete a silver proving ground shows what a really selfish person you are. Remember, not everyone has the financial capacity to upgrade or buy a new PC every 2, 3, or 5 years. Not everyone is fortunate enough to have a job that pays well. People also have responsibilities like family or medical expenses. People living in a third world country would have to save for at least 2 or 3 years to be able to buy a moderately good PC. You should also know that no one can pick a class they have never played before and be godly at it, especially if they use a level 100 boost and have not grown to know the class through leveling. You become better through repetition and time. People try and don't just play on a character expecting to be carried. Also, you can't expect someone who has never experienced the content to just automatically know it. They learn through experience. Also, Blizzard shouldn't have to tell people, no, you're not good enough. Or, no, you can't see the raid because people are paying for a product and should be able to experience content. If I bought Legion and Blizzard told me, no, you're not good enough to be there, you can't see that, I'd be pissed as fuck. I'd take the matter further as well. I'm not saying people shouldn't put effort into it because, frankly, you can't get into content without meeting an item level requirement. And you can't rate. No matter how you slice it, the vote kick system will always have its flaws. Your arguments here are somewhat lacking deeper thought in that you say when a majority wants something, they should be able to get it because they are the ones playing and they should decide. So, what now of the person who is being voted off? Is his time not being wasted as well? Is he not playing the game too? Why then should he have to be kicked if he is trying his best, doing everything he can to stay alive? Let's say the healer is bad and a DPS ends up dying and the healer votes kick with a note that reads bad DPS. Everyone is going to see he died and take the healer's word, and so the DPS got kicked because the healer abused the system. Another example is if the tank had a bad experience with a mage and decided never to want to be grouped with a mage again. He'll end up kicking every mage until he gets a different class. People are inclined to go along with whoever initiates a vote kick without looking into what really happened, which becomes unfair to the person being kicked. Their time ends up being unfairly wasted because people vote on impulse instead of logic. There is no easy way to revamp the vote kick system without there being ways of abusing it, punishing the few because the many acted on impulse. It's not fair to either. And yes, it's logical, people should be responsible, but the looking for group tool does not give people power. It enables them to queue for a dungeon and run through the content to complete quests or gear up. If someone is being an ass, wiping the group on purpose, or not doing anything constructive, then kick him and put a valid reason in. I've seen so many votes left blank, and I refuse to kick because I don't know why they are voting. And it still usually goes through because people can't think for themselves, playing follow the leader. That whole Spider-Man great power quote holds no argument here, as you cannot compare doing the right thing in a movie to a fucking game. People abuse the vote kick system a lot more than using it for its intended purpose of removing a bad player. Also, this next bit is regarding your preemptive responses. Your druid response is pitiful and begs the question, how much did you research before answering that question? Fuck all. Out of all of the DPS specs, feral druids have the worst AoE. Even rogues AoE a lot better than druids do. Feral druids are also limited by their AoE spells due to the energy cost and energy regeneration, making silver more difficult at certain stages to complete. I speak from experience and play every class, so I can gauge the difficulties better than people who only play 3 or 4 classes. I'm not saying it's impossible, only that feral druids have a tougher time. Your other response, at the weapon, is contradictory because you later say that if you can't complete silver or might have a problem with, if you can't complete silver, you might have a problem with your gear. Proving grounds scale based on the gear you are wearing. No matter if you are naked, wearing greens, or in full mythic Hellfire Citadel gear, you won't notice much of a difference in the time it takes to clear stuff. The vote kick system right now does protect toxic players, but also enables them and greatly empowers them to be even more toxic through abuse. Also, clearing or not clearing silver proving grounds does not stop players from being toxic. If a toxic player gets into LFR and puts someone on follow and hardly does anything, no one really does anything about it. Nor will he stop doing what he is doing regardless of the system you put in place to try and prevent such behavior. And lastly, you are a hypocrite. You go on about toxic players who can't do their job, needing to be kicked, but in your video, you fly into ads effectively reducing the tank's ability to do his job, and if someone had to vote kick him and notarize it, bad tank, he would be voted out. It would all be because you were impatient or trying to be elite that a person who is not to blame would be kicked, which makes you the toxic player. You would be wasting his time as well as abusing the vote kick system through your actions. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you liked the video, then please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. Thanks again. Goodbye.